Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another StarCraft 2 lesson. We're going to be checking out the age-old problem of below diamond Terrans, where our money is floating super excessively. And I'm going to be showing you guys at the end of this video a super simple way we can kind of simplify our production to easily spend our money, even if we're making some mistakes. As I think most people already know, the main goal if you're, bronze or a beginner or intermediate is really to get a handle on spending your money. And a lot of the times, a lot of these players at this league, like gold and platinum, are already pretty good at a lot of things in the game. Like they know a lot of nuances, where to position their units, what tech they're going for, but it's really just a matter of getting a handle on actually spending the money, especially when you get that third base, because that's where your money really rockets up. And so I have a game here. It's a student of mine, Rusty Shacky, and we're going to use his game as an example here because I think it's a pretty standard example of what happens with a lot of platinum Terrans or lower. If you're lower, it should be super helpful as well. So you can see here, we're at like 8 minutes. We've got our third up. And we're starting to float quite a bit of money. We have about 1,000 in the bank. But if you look around, like there's a lot of really good things going on here. Like we're on 311, which is very standard. We've got the double eBay going. We've got our Cyclone in a good spot. So there's a lot of like advanced stuff going on, but it's just that our money is getting too high. And the main reason for this is just that we're skipping the end of grabbing all our production in favor of some other buildings. And I think this is really common because when you take your third base, you feel like you've already got a pretty strong economy and you can kind of just do whatever, but you really need to get your production first. You can actually queue up your units, and that's how you're going to spend the majority of your money. And then all of these like extra things like the turret, for example, or the fourth command center are kind of like extras, and they don't really help you spend your money long term. They're kind of just like temporary money drops. So you can see we have a sensor tower turret here as well, but we're not quite on the number of production yet that we need to be to spend our money on 3 base. And basically you need that all finished when this base is saturated, because once this base is saturated, you're going to have a massive influx of money because you're not building any more SCVs. So if we fast forward, okay, so we've kind of paused workers a little bit here. Yeah, so right now our money is going to go and skyrocket. The only way it won't skyrocket is if you continue to build workers, but you don't really want these workers. So we have like 72. We kind of wanted to be stopped at 66. And so we're basically just overcompensating by building some workers there. And then our money really starts to get out of control once we stop that. Like, I mean, it's just, it's going to the moon right now. So I think the play is pretty good in this game up until this point. And then it seems like, oh shit, how did my money get so high so fast, right? It just gets out of control in like a minute. So we're going to fix this. So let's go back to where I think we can solve the problem pretty easily, which is basically around the time you get your third. Okay, so right here we do the swaps. I think another reason people run into this problem is because they're following pro level build orders where the margins of error are really, really small. And that's fine if you can actually, get pretty close to hitting the benchmarks. But for most players, that's actually too difficult. So we're going to simplify here in this game. I'm going to start at this point. Let's play as Rusty. And what we're going to do is we're basically just going to drop all of the production we need for 3 bases way before we need it. Like way before. And there's really not much downside if you think about it. Like if we grab 2 barracks in the factory, The only downside is you're going to have very slightly less units for the next like 30 seconds, let's say. And as long as you're not going to die in that period, this is going to be a perfectly reasonable way of kind of assisting you to spend all of your money when you're not, macroing perfectly yet. So we'll take command here and let's get this third over. I'm gonna have to reset some hotkeys here, bear with me. Okay, so then we're gonna drop the barracks and the factories. So now we've got 5 barracks, 2 factory, and 1 starport. Let me pause here again. So I've thrown down all the production we need. If you don't already know how much you need, this is exactly what you want for 3 bases. 2 factory, well, there's some other options actually, but this is the easiest. 5 barracks, 2 factory, 1 starport. And this is good in all the matchups. If you want to simplify, you can just play siege tank, medevac, marine, or marine marauder, and it should be good against every comp somewhat effectively. So that's the base setup. And then from here, we're really going to learn how to prioritize what we actually need in the game. So you're not going to just spend your money aimlessly. You're going to focus on which things are the most important. So first, you want to be building workers. So I'm going to queue up to like 2 at a time or even 3 at a time. Doesn't really matter. And then we're going to do our depots. So bunch of SCVs, some depots. In fact, we could even do 3 if we want. Grab those depots. And then the next thing you're going to prioritize is not the Marines, it's the tech units. So you're going to go siege tanks, medevacs, and if you have any extra money, then you could build Marines. Actually, in this position, we're going to need an armory though. So we're still not going to build any Marine. We could drop our mules if we want. Check our siege tanks again and our medevacs. Keep the SCVs topped up. So we're going up to 3 at a time. After the SCVs, we need depots. So again, we're not really building Marines here. You can see that there's not really anything being produced from these barracks. Then we're going to go another siege tank. I see that rally point wasn't set. Let's fix that. We're going to top up the SCVs again. And you can see just all of my money is being spent basically on the siege tanks, the gas units, and the SCVs and the depots. And you only really have a massive influx of money when you stop building the workers. So actually you might see a little bit of extra money like right here. So we finally have room to build some Marine, like 1 round. More depots again. Get our armor. And again, you can see we have quite a bit of money piling up. So that's where your Marine production comes in. But it's not as much as you would think, right? It's actually a lot less, I think, than most people would expect. And you're basically just setting up that production in case you need it, usually in your games. Actually, the same thing happens with Protoss. You're kind of just having all this production in case you're getting all in and you actually need to make a ton of units. And there you go. So now our money's quite low. You can sneak in a command center if you want, or you can just keep spending your money on these productions. And look at that. You can see we're absolutely bottom of the barrel on our money. Perfect spending. And all we did is basically throw down our production way in advance of what we need. And I think this is just a nice little, easy way for people to spend their money. If you're not having 500 APM like Maro and Clem. So yeah, just blast down the production really quickly once your third base goes down. And then you always have that safety net. Like if your money starts to get out of hand, that's okay. Just queue up a bunch of Marines, grab your depots, keep all that up, of course. But just having the barracks down early is going to make it so much easier to spend your money. And then you won't have that problem of floating 2K anymore. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe, and I'll have lots more content coming out soon. So see you guys in the next one. Actually, also, might as well plug myself here. If you guys are interested in any one-on-one coaching, check out my website, HuShangCoaching.com. That's all for today. Peace, guys.